Hey guys, this week's project is a HP power adapter. Now this was part of the batch of 6 that I bought from the UK of non-working HP power adapters. So this is the one I've marked as number 4. I've plugged this in and there is nothing happening, so I suspect that the fuse is probably blown on this. But I'm going to take some pictures of it and we're going to try and troubleshoot and see if we can get it working again.
Working on electronic circuits comes with a risk of serious injury. This video is for educational purposes only. Please do not attempt to work on any electrical circuits unless you have the required training and experience. Do not attempt repairs yourself. Thank you. And this is what the board looks like when I scanned it in. So we're going to start the same place we always start, at the input section. Now, just to say, before I carried out any measurements on this board, I plugged it out and I discharged the main filter capacitor. So in this section, this is the input section right here, and this is where our live and our neutral hit the board. So this pin is where our live comes in, and we're going to follow the path that it takes. So we can see here it comes along this track onto this pin here, and between here and here there is an inductor, and then the path comes onto one of the center pins of the bridge rectifier. Introducing my multimeter in diode mode, I place my red probe to where the live pin connects to the circuit board, and I place my black probe to the center pin of the bridge rectifier, and I find that it measures 0.000. So we have continuity from the live input to the center pin of the bridge rectifier, so that's good. The neutral wire connects to the board right here, so we can mark that in. And between here and here there is a fuse. After the fuse, that connects to an inductor between here and here, and then that should connect to the other center pin of our bridge rectifier. Now when I checked the fuse, there was no reading, so as I suspected, the fuse is actually blown. Next I checked after the fuse to the center pin of the bridge rectifier along here, and as you can see, that is continuous. So the fuse is blown, but the rest of the input section seems to be good. So this is effectively the circuit that we're looking at for the neutral pad. The wire comes in here, connects to this point. The fuse is missing here, it's blown. On the other side of the fuse, we're good through the inductor to the center pin of the bridge rectifier. Now I could just replace the fuse and plug it in and hope that that's all that's wrong with it. However, it's most likely that that would blow again straight away. It's usually another fault that causes the fuse to blow. So I'm going to keep troubleshooting this circuit as if the fuse were fine. And the next component we need to check is the bridge rectifier. As we've seen before with these little SMPS power adapters, the bridge rectifier usually comes in a package that looks like this. So we have one single IC that has 4 diodes in it. Now if we look at it on our actual circuit here, I can mark in the 4 pins of that package, and you can see we have our 2 AC pins in the center, we have our DC output here and our DC ground here. And if I mark in the diode configuration, it will help us to see what way the diodes actually are connected in that package. So we just have 4 diodes that we need to test, and let's do that next. The first diode we can see in that package is between our negative and this AC pin right here. So I place my red probe to our minus pin. I get my black probe and place it to the center AC pin, and we introduce our multimeter in diode mode. And when I measure between those 2 points, I measure 0.540. So that diode is good. The second diode also measures 0.540, so that's also good. The third diode in that package is also measuring 0.540, so it's also good. And lastly, our fourth diode is also measuring 0.540. So it looks like all 4 diodes in our bridge rectifier are good. So at this point we've established that our input section here up to the bridge rectifier looks fine, and our bridge rectifier itself is testing fine. So neither the input section nor the bridge rectifier were the cause of our fuse blowing. So what we can do is we can continue troubleshooting at the point where we have our DC output from our bridge rectifier. Just a quick safety note here. On the DC output of the bridge rectifier, you will always find a large filter capacitor. You can spot it here. This is the positive pin and this is the negative pin where it connects to the board. Now these filter capacitors can store up to 320 or maybe even more volts. So before taking any measurements from this board, I located that filter capacitor and I fully discharged it. Next, I want to check if there is a short on the DC output of our bridge rectifier. So I place my black probe to our positive output and my red probe to the negative output, and I measure 0.989. So there's no short on the DC output from the bridge rectifier. So what happens with our DC voltage when it leaves our bridge rectifier here? Well, let's follow the path. So we're following along here down to this position. Let's mark that in. At this position, it goes through the primary winding of a transformer and then connects to the drain pin of a power MOSFET. The source pin of that MOSFET is here, and that connects to ground through a current sense resistor. Now if I zoom in for a second, what I've described as the current sense resistor there is actually 3 individual SMD resistors in parallel. Now these are actually blown, which is part of the fault with this adapter, so I'm trying to work out what the values are. As I zoom in, you can see it looks like it's or 820 or 820 or 750. I think if you think you see it better, please put down in the comments below what you think it is. But my calculation on that is 3 in parallel, one of 0.85 ohms, second resistor of 0.85 ohms, and a third resistor of 0.75 ohms, and that gives a current sense resistor equivalent value of 0.27 ohms. This IC right here is called our pulse width modulation IC. Now it's the job of this IC to turn the gate of this MOSFET on at very, very high frequency. It also checks to make sure that the circuit is working okay, and if it sees anything is wrong, it will shut the circuit down. Let's take a closer look at the pins of that pulse width modulation IC and we'll get a better understanding of the functions that it carries out. I've extracted the pins, the details of each of the pins from the datasheet, and I've marked in those pins on the IC itself. I don't have an exhaustive knowledge of this pulse width modulation IC by any means, but I'm going to give a best effort here to explain as much as I know. If you know more, please put down in the comments below, and if you think I've made an error, please put that down in the comments below as well. So let's go. Well, pin number 1 is ground, and as you can see, pin number 1, which I've marked in here as ground, is indeed connected to ground. Pin 2 is the feedback pin. This is it right here. So feedback is sent to the pulse width modulation IC through this pin. This allows us to adjust the on time of the pulse width modulation signal that's sent to the gate of the power MOSFET to ensure that we're providing enough power to match the requirements of the load on the output. Pin 3 is our V in. This is the startup voltage that's used to power the pulse width modulation IC before the circuit is actually fully up and running. Pin 4 is RI, and this pin is used to set the frequency of the pulse width modulation. Pin 5 is RT, and this pin is a temperature sensing pin, so this can be used to shut down the circuit if it gets too hot. Number 6 is sense. This is where we connect to our current sense resistor. We've already seen that we have the current sense resistors here. So this allows us to calculate the amount of current flowing through the circuit by calculating the voltage drop across these current sense resistors, and that's sent back to pin number 6. If the current flow is too high, then it will shut down the circuit, but apparently it didn't catch this one in time. Pin 7 is VDD. This is what's called the run voltage. So when a circuit is up and fully running, the pulse width modulation IC takes its power from a secondary winding in the primary side of the transformer. We will discuss that more in other videos. And finally, pin 8 is the gate pin. This is the most important pin. It sends a signal to the gate pin of the power MOSFET to tell it when to switch on and switch off. So after all that, let's get back to try and troubleshoot what is wrong with this circuit. Well, as I pointed out already, it looks like these 3 SMD current sense resistors are blown. You can see there is no top on any of them. You can also see that this SMD resistor, which carries that current sense signal back to this pulse width modulation IC, is also blown. And we can also see that this 470 ohm SMD resistor, which is in the path between the gate of the pulse width modulation IC and the gate of the power MOSFET, also looks like it's blown. So I would also hazard a guess that our power MOSFET is probably also blown as well, given that the current sense is blown. So what I'm going to check next is to see if we have a short on this power MOSFET. I introduced my multimeter in diode mode. I've marked out the pins on this here, so we've gate, drain and source. So I place my red probe to the drain and my black probe to the source, and I find I get a value of 0.000. So that's measuring as shorted in circuit. Similarly, between the gate and the drain pin, I'm also measuring 0.000, so to shorten that as well. It's most likely that MOSFET itself is actually shorted, so I'm going to take it out of circuit and just double check it. And with that power MOSFET out of circuit, I'm just going to check and see is it actually shorted. And as you can see, it is shorted between all pins. So we're building up quite a shopping list at this stage. We need a power MOSFET, we need these 3 current sense resistors or somehow an equivalent. We need to replace this SMD resistor right here. We need to replace this SMD resistor right here. And I'm not sure about this Zener diode. But what I did was I started pulling the components, just these little SMD resistors, from other boards that I had here. But when I replaced this 470, I was still measuring short between here and here, even with this MOSFET out. So that got me thinking, is it possible that this transistor, whatever this is here, is also shorted? So I desoldered this and checked it as well. And after desoldering that little IC out of circuit, I tested it, and it is also shorted. At this stage, I think there's just too many components blown on this board for me to continue repairing it. The purpose of this is not to get everything fixed anyway. The purpose of this is for me to try and build on the other SMPS repairs and try and see if I can apply my method of drawing out the circuit on top of the board and see if it works for these. I think I'm making progress on it. But as far as this power adapter goes, I'm going to have to call this one as a fail, and it's going in the bin. But thanks for watching, and I'll be back next week with something more interesting.